Okay, how's it going this evening? Welcome, everyone. It is Thursday, Thriving Thursday Live, and we're here for another exciting edition of Thriving Thursday Live. First Home Alliance. We have a special guest tonight. We're running these series, and we're having some fantastic guests. We kicked off this new year, and so we're going to continue with this. And we're really trying to build this community. So please go out there. We want for you to hit that subscribe button. If you don't like, we want you to like it. And on the social media platforms, go ahead and follow. And don't forget to share. And come back every Thursday to join us for Thursday, Thriving Thursday Live. And so, Charlene, go ahead and welcome our audience. And for tonight.
All right, guys. Thank you so much again, as Larry stated, for joining us for our Thriving Thursday. But y'all know me. I'm going to sneak in that Thirsty Thursday as well. So hopefully you're listening to this conversation with a little glass of wine or whatever. And so, again, thank you for joining us. Remember, like, share, subscribe. Also, we want your comments. We want that interaction. So please do that as well. So for those of you who are new to our Thriving Thursday, let me tell you a little bit about First Home Alliance. First Home Alliance, we are a HUD-approved housing counseling agency established by our president and founder in 2002. Mission goal is to increase home ownership to low to moderate income family. Inception came from his mother purchased her first home at the age of 65. That intrigued him. After serving the country for almost 25 years, he decided to serve the community and now has been doing that for 22 years. So we getting there, Larry. You're neck and neck with the country and the community. It's real close, balancing out. So what is First Home Alliance services that we provide? We provide pre-purchase counseling as well as education. Counseling, what does that mean? You want to buy a house, you Googled it, you still lost, have no idea where to start, what to do. First Home Alliance act as it is still an advocate on behalf of you, help you build that team, help you, find that funding, closing costs, down payment, all of that good stuff. Make sure you're in an affordable range. That's our pre-purchase services. We also provide education. Our education is a class that we have in the Northern Virginia area once a month. Our next class is going to be the 21st of this month. Again, that is a class that's going to give you the gist of the home buying process. We won't talk specifically about your situation, but you'll get an idea of what it is to expect in that process. That is our pre-purchase services. We also offer loss mitigation or post-purchase services. And those loss mitigation services, hey, I bought a house, I'm in a hardship, I need some help, I need some advocacy, I don't want to lose my home to foreclosure. And that is where First Home Alliance steps in as an advocate, discussing your file with your servicer, trying to see what we can do. The number one goal is to make sure that you, the homeowner, do not experience foreclosure. And so that is our loss mitigation services. Post-purchase services, it's very similar, but not so much. Post-purchase meaning I own a home, I want to maintain this home, I need help. I may be a first-generation homeowner, so I'm not really sure, of all of what it entails to be a homeowner. First Home Alliance offers those services as well. Rental counseling, as well as debt budget management, and along with some emergency preparedness services. We found out in 2000 that a lot of us don't have a plan of action when it comes to emergency preparedness. And so First Home Alliance also offers that. Where are these services offered? We are in Virginia, Maryland, the south side of Chicago. But again, it's very redundant. I know y'all like, Charlene, you say this every Thursday, and you're right, I do. It does not matter where you are located. First Home Alliance can assist. So with that being said, I'm going to throw it back to Larry so we can kick off this conversation tonight. Larry?
Right. All right. Again, thanks for joining us this evening, and welcome to the community. Welcome to the community. We're here to provide those financial literacy services for you to empower you as an organization. We are here to empower you as a community. Of course, we want you to be a member of a community, a thriving community. We want to see that you grow financially, financial wealth, capability, and also, if you're in the market for home ownership, we thrive. We cherish the things that we're able to do with our potential homeowners, our renters, that we have helped over 5,000 individuals become first-time home buyers. But just like there's home buyers, we also serve homeowners. And so we provide the post-purchase home ownership as well. We'll receive basically a lot of accolades in reference to individuals that are already homeowners that actually stay in our community, continue to come to us for budget counseling, home ownership counseling, but also maybe you're not in trouble. Just being a member of the community, sharing the information that we want to go. Enjoy the community appreciation events that we have, festivals, housing festivals, and referring others in the community when they may need assistance with rental assistance, recovery from financial situation. Just enjoying and celebrating our community. So stay attached to us, continue to follow us, share our information, and help us grow our community. One of the big things that for post-purchase, individuals knowing there's a reliable source in the community that can assist. So just in case you begin to struggle with mortgage payments or financial situation, we are advocacy here to help you talk to those those mortgage companies, and also potential financial institution that you may be thinking about making a purchase. So we're here for that. All right, and we're here we make some great connections. We make great connections because we have great partners in the community, and one of our long-standing partners tonight it's a real estate professional. Okay, and I know back 20 years ago, they call guys that have real estate license. Sometimes they used to call them salesmen. Then they call them real estate agents. You know, we have real estate professionals that are here to build relationships with you throughout the process and enjoy having a relationship, long-term relationship. You're a renter, you're a homeowner, and it don't end just because you purchase a home. Because there's situations come up. You may want to talk about whether to sell, you may want to step up, step down, refinance, and things of that sort. And we understand this series is going to go long, so we're going to cover a whole lot of different areas. This real estate professional here, Ketaa, is not someone just showed up one day and gonna see him again. He stays around. He's here for the whole year. He's here for the spring, summer, and we know that. And he is from this area. So he's not like for some of us, of course, I've been here for over 20 plus years, almost 30 years, I think.
Hey,
30 yeyeah. And so you can sort of like say I'm from Northern Virginia.
You are now.
Yeah.
You're not a transplant anymore.
Right. Yeah. So I got here in 96. But Ketaa he actually lives here. He was born here and raised here. He attended he's alumni TC Williams. He's have vast knowledge of the local market. He's licensed not only in Virginia, but DC and Maryland. He's an expert when it comes to purchasing homes, maintaining your home. And when it comes to some of those situations where individuals that need to transition and sell homes, he specializes in short sales with a 97% close rate. That's not easy, not at all. When it comes
to no short sale. Mm-hmm.
You got to know what you're doing. And so he's an expert in this field and actually helping individuals step up, step down. In reference to individuals, if they have to go through a situation where they transition out, he can help you get back in line in reference to investing and becoming a homeowner again. So he expert in those areas. He assists clients in a lot of different things. Not only do he do real estate and real estate professional, and he has a son that's very well in sports. And so, and Ketaa is pretty active as well in reference to being in the gym and working out. And so he stay active in sports. He spend time, and he's a family person as well. He loves his family. He loves his community. And he also volunteers here within our county and around here in Northern Virginia area. And without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to our series star for the upcoming 4-week series, Ketaa Golden. Ketaa.
Well, you know what? We forgot to put the big B in there. This is a broker talking to a big dog.
Oh, Joe,
Yeah.
He's growing.
I got my broker's license. Yeah.
Yes. All right.
Yeah. That's
so we have yes. Go ahead, Ketaa.
So I mean, Larry, I thank you guys so much for having me here. And I'm glad that it's a relaxed type of thing, so that we can kind of actually ask questions that normally don't get answered. And that's why I'm glad that we're doing this series. So I'm all you guys. So whatever questions you have, feel free to ask.
Yeah, well, Keita, I would like to start, and because I want the, of course, this is recorded. This is a series. And of course, you've been on the rock, your block, you've been around. But there's some people that don't know you very well.
Okay.
And so to get just let us get to know who you are. And, tell us a little bit about your coming up in the community and why you chose to stay here in Northern Virginia.
Okay. So, like Larry said, my name is Ketaa Golden. I'm born and raised in Alexandria, Virginia. I went to T.C. Williams High School. Then I transitioned to another school in Bristol, Virginia called Youth for Tomorrow. Co-founder Joe Gibbs. Now I live in the Fredericksburg area. Been doing real estate for about 25 years. I'm licensed in Maryland, DC, and Virginia. I'm a full-time agent. I love what I do. I'm a family person. Like Larry said, I have 3 boys. I have a grandson. One of my sons is actually this year, he'd be finished with college. And then my other son is a high-ranked football player. He's actually an early enrollment at Notre Dame College in South Bend, Indiana. So he's going to be playing football there. That's pretty much about me. I like Larry said, I always tell my clients I'm your agent for life, because I believe that it's more than just me doing a transaction sale. It's building that relationship because, again, a lot of people don't know. So if you don't know certain things about your house that can help you maintain your house, you can run into a bad situation. So I feel like being a realtor is not just doing a transaction, is also learning as much knowledge as you can to give that to your client to help them maintain their house, keep their house. So that's why I always tell clients, I'm your realtor for life.
Yes. And Keita, being from the area and everything here, what drew you to real estate? How did you know this was your niche, your calling?
Real talk.
Okay. So, I used to do life insurance before.
Uh-huh.
I was a life insurance agent, and I started back in my mid-20s, and a lot of my friends didn't understand the need of having life insurance. Mm-hmm. So when I used to sell them life insurance, if it came down to going to the club or buying a pair of tennis shoes, they wouldn't pay their premium. And so we had something called chargeback when the person didn't pay the premium, because insurance works where they would pay you a certain percentage up front. Right. And then whenever they charge it back, if they don't pay and it lapses, they would come after you for that money. So I was always in the rear when it came to that. And I was praying about it, and God told me to get into real estate because I was working for a construction company. My goal was to actually buy houses and fix them up and resell them. So the reason why I was working for the construction company was to meet people that, did electrical and plumbing, because they said that was the most expensive thing when it came to flipping a house. So I got my license. And my mom was working at this job, and a lady talked to her that she was riding home with, and she was in need of a realtor because she was about to lose her house. So I stepped in and helped her sell her house. And the way that it was a crazy thing because the buyer was actually helping. Mm-hmm. Was helping, my mom was helping because she had so much stuff in the house that she had to get out. And so we got it out the house, and I closed on the house. She was happy because she was able to walk away with some money. I was happy because that was my first real estate check, and I was just like, oh my goodness, I made this off of one transaction. And I was very excited, and I was like, man, you know what, this is something that I can do. And then one of my friends that I met, her name was Verna. This was back in 2003. Right. She actually worked at the construction site, and I was passing out my cards. She called me one day and said, hey, I got a house in DC and I want to rent it out. So we tried to rent the house out. We couldn't do it. Then she wanted to sell it, and we had a contract on it, but the people wanted her to do so much work to it that she didn't want to do. And she just looked at me and said, "Hey, why don't you buy it? It's a good property. And it brings good rental income. You're young. You can still be running back and forth and doing all the property management stuff yourself."
Right.
So that was my first investment property. So after that, it just took off. I just said, you know what? I prayed about it, and God said, "This is where I want you to be." And I said, "Okay, let's move forward." And I just kept at it.
Just kept going. So it didn't seem like you had to go around and try a whole lot of different things going through the insurance and then coming to this. It sounds like you're a right fit for that.
Yeah.
Right.
I've always had an entrepreneur background. So once I got in this, man, it was like, okay, I can do this. Show me the and that's why I've been. And people think it's weird, but they say, "Wow, I can't believe it." I'm a very loyal person. I've been with Fairfax Realty for 25 years.
Wow.
Wow.
Most people come from like Long and Foster, or I've been with them ever since I've started. And like I told them, I didn't need to be a salesman because I'm a very personal person. I feel like I sell myself on how personal I get, how my relationship is with my clients. But I just need to know the contracts, to show me how to fill out the contracts, show me how to do this and do that, the do's and don'ts. I can do the rest. Yeah. Yes.
Because I do know that you're not one of those real estate agents that, from when I came up, they used to have their sign and their logo and everything, They even had a big sign on the car, on their jackets. They got the picture, you have an ID card. I mean, I call it an ID card. It seemed like an ID card because a business card, it was mostly with a big, their picture and everything all over everything. But Ketaa, I remember, over 10, I guess it's definitely been over 10 years ago that you used to come and sometimes you didn't have business cards.
Oh,
yeah.
Like Ketaa,
I don't need them. I'm that good.
Yeah.
Just walking around shaking people's hands and talking to people.
Yeah.
Yes. And so that is very good. With your people skills, was you able to pick that up early as well, that you really you don't have a problem talking to people?
I used to be very nervous talking to people, actually. But once I know the information, I think I always was very talkative around people that I was comfortable being around. So I just had to just try to translate that to like, hey, this is a client. And doing insurance, I used to work with a company called Primerica Financial Services.
Heard of them.
And I actually did very well with them as an insurance agent. And we went to a lot of classes. That's where I learned to read the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. The Magic of Thinking Big. So those things kind of helped me with my people skills, my talking skills. And I remember I went to this trainer and he said, whenever you meet with someone, always get the objections up front. A lot of times people do their presentation, they get the client all ready to go, and the next thing the client started asking all these negative questions or asking these questions, and you don't have the answer, and then it just takes the morale from up here to down here. So I like to come in and start answering these questions up front. I'll even ask you questions that I think you're going to ask because I want to get those things, those I's dotted and them T's crossed so that we can move forward and make things happen and, make it a smooth transaction for both of us.
Yes, that's great. Yes, Charlie, you have something?
No, I wanted to talk about in terms of, I think you already answered it though. I was going to ask you when you got started in this field, because we know that for those of us who've been in this industry for quite a bit of time, it's not for the weak. It's anytime I think that the nature of your business is people, sometimes it's a lot harder because your business is based off of people. And so I think you kind of answered my question in terms of your duration and what you feel, how you were able to last this long. Especially you lasted through the housing crisis, through the big one, the 2008. And Larry and I, we know that there's some people that made it and there's a lot that didn't. So what do you think allowed you to be able to maintain and stay in this field during some of the peak seasons and the lows? Because in housing, the lows are the lows and the highs are the highs.
Yeah. I think one thing that stood out with me was that I was just a go-getter. I was the type of agent that will take you anywhere to look at a house. If it's in Maryland, I'm going to take you. If it's in Virginia, I'm going to take you. When I first started out, I think the hustling mentality of, I got to go out here and just grind it, that's what has made me more different. Being able to reach me like 7 days a week, being able to reach me, at 9 o'clock. I had clients call me at 9, 10 o'clock at night. Because we're about to close the next day and they're nervous. They're having buyer's remorse. They don't understand, or, it's, something has happened. Or they just because back then, you guys remember, we didn't have the tread. We didn't have the 3-day review. So lenders would actually, and it's kind of, I don't want to bad lenders, so please don't take it that way. But
Conversation, you good?
It was some lenders that the day of settlement, 30 minutes to an hour before you close is what they would know what their numbers are. So if your estimate before you even wrote on a house was say bringing 15,000, that 30 minutes to an hour, that price had went up to maybe 20,000 now.
Ooh.
And I'm sure, Larry, you can contest to that. That's how it was. Yes. And that's why trade came into play, because buyers it was just getting robbed. Like, man, how you going to tell me an hour before? It was so many settlements that I had to either push back or a couple of hours go, settle later, because it was just so much confusion. Because the lenders were just doing stuff at the last minute. Some lenders were, putting it on the realtor, saying, hey, tell your realtor to give you a credit. I had some lenders say that, oh, he'll give you a credit, and I'm like, I'm not giving, I will give something.
Right.
Meet halfway, I
said I got 3 kids.
Yeah. So some lenders, it was just bad. It was a very shady time. And I think that's why trade came into place to help, so that way buyers can look at this thing 3 days before it actually happens, and they can review, and they can say, okay, I like this, I don't like this, this doesn't make sense, you didn't tell me this before, and they have time to try to work that problem out. Whereas though we at the table, I remember being at the table sometimes, and the title company brings out the stack of papers and go over the altar sheet, and they're like, do you have a check for 20,000? And they're like, 20? I was told 13.5.
Yeah.
And we and I'm on the phone with the lender and the sellers, and this before people really did split settlements. It was always a combined settlement.
Yes.
So I'm on the phone with the lender, like, hey man, I gotta step outside. What is going on? It's 20. Well, that's the numbers. What do you mean it's the numbers? They're in their office talking about it, and don't let it be a settlement at 4:30, 4:45.
You done.
At the 5 o'clock, you can't reach nobody.
Hey, you cook.
Yeah.
So it was crazy. It was crazy.
A lot of surprises back in that time.
Yeah. So I think me being very involved, me just showing my client that I care, me basically answering my phone at any time that, to be able to talk to them, I think that is what helped me get through those moments when the market is slow. People know that I can trust this guy. This guy's going to be honest. It's times where I've helped people, and I had to lower my commission because they didn't walk away with much money and they needed to do other things, whether it was a living situation. And I'm like, okay, you know what? Don't worry. Let's do it this way. So it's just, I think people saw the genuineness in me, and that's what made people want to use me and stick with me as an agent.
Yes. I like the title that we put on the talk tonight. And what you're talking about is, we have the buyer in the mirror. The buyer in the mirror. And so when did you buy your first house?
I bought my first house in DC.
In DC. Okay.
Yeah, it was my investment property that I bought from the lady Verna.
What year was that?
That was 2004. early 2004.
All right. Do you put yourself sort of like in that situation when you're talking to someone, they're making their first transaction? You reflect back when you made your first?
Yes, I do. And I try to understand that a lot of times the reason why I chose that topic was because I feel like I want buyers to look themselves in the mirror and do an adjustment of themselves, because I think that we hold ourselves back from doing something great that can change our financial future for life. You know, and I don't usually share numbers, but that house that I bought in DC back in 2003, 2004, I mean, that house is almost paid for. It's gained so much equity in that house that if I decide to sell, I can utilize that money to do something else, or start. Life changes. Like you start a business. Say if God forbid if something was to happen that's life threatening, I can sell and utilize that money. I've been and visited a friend of mine who had a stroke, and he's in a rehab center, and he's on Medicaid, but I mean, he don't have really no family support. He don't have his 2 kids live in 2 different states. It's just hard. So, buying a house can actually set you up in a position where if a crisis was to come, you can get out of that crisis. But it also can help build wealth and help you understand this is how rich and wealthy people do it. And they've been doing it like this in years. I do a lot of reading and research. The guy that used to own, his family owned it, Bus. I forgot his first name, but the Lakers. He bought the Lakers by selling a piece of real estate that he owned in downtown LA, and he took that money and he bought the Lakers. And he was able to have that Lakers to where it's been passed down from generations, and I'm sure it's going to keep being passed down. So real estate is very powerful, and the buyer in the mirror is just to get buyers to look at themselves and reflect and stop being fearful, because I think that is what's causing people not to buy. The wrong information is causing people not to buy.
Yes, and so when you're talking to buyers, what are some of the questions that you have to clear up the most?
Rates.
Rates.
Everybody's caught up in rates, and that's the problem that I don't understand is why you caught up in rates. I get it. You got to buy what you can afford. But I had a quote that I got that Warren Buffett said, "Be greedy when others are fearful." And so what that means is, when people are fearful, that's when you're supposed to buy.
Yes.
You're supposed to move. And I say this a lot of times to buyers is like, hey, I get it with the rates, but you got to understand rates go up and down, just like real estate go up and down. But I think that people look at history and they say, well, I'm waiting for the prices to go down like 2008. And I tell them, unless the economy like just straight out flatline, we're not going to have that type of market. So it's just not going to happen. It's something that caused that market to do that. And that's because people got those bad loans and them loans adjusted, and it caused people to get into that crisis like that. People were buying houses, $500,000 houses with a $30,000 income.
No.
And some people, and the thing that's even more crazy, people were buying a $500,000 house, right? And had that adjustable rate where you pick the three options.
Pick a pay.
Yeah, pick a pay. And then 6 months later, the house would go up in value, say $700,000, and the lender would convince them to pull out $200,000, put your cousin in your house and rent it, and go buy $1 million house.
Right.
Keep
it going.
Yeah, and it was crazy. And that's why we had those prices go down and it crashed like that. And really what happened was, really to me, I think what helped that happen was short sales, because banks were doing short sales but didn't know what short sales were.
Right.
They were just doing it, man. It was some investors I had were buying houses, man, I mean, pennies on the dollar.
Mm-hmm.
And then banks had to get smart and say, okay, hold up, we're something ain't right.
Right.
You know what I mean? This is not working. We're losing a lot of money. Then they started getting more educated to say, okay, let us start looking. Now they started making realtors like do CMAs, broker price opinions. Some banks would even do appraisals because they were like, we let these properties go for
Nothing.
for
Crackhead prices.
Yeah. So now they're like, so I think when it comes to a buyer, I have to educate them on the rates. Like, hey, buy it now, but just understand the rate will go down and you can refinance and get a better rate because you don't want the rates to go down. When the rates go down, people are going to buy and it's going to drive the prices up. And that's where the problem is going to come.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to buy now.
Yes. So and so I think he's speaking of seasons, and so I think everyone in reference to their season, when it's time for them, and the market could be up, it should be on decline, and I think most individuals think they are expert investor when they get in, and so how what give us some of the what they should be looking at in reference to waiting. I'm going to wait until the market is right. What if you wait for two years? What is the loss in reference to waiting that?
Me personally, if you wait, I think you're waiting because you're losing. I mean, you're going to lose equity. You're going to lose a lot of equity because, I mean, in the DMV area, prices do go up fast. I just showed a house in Sterling the other day, and the house was listed for $425. It needed some cosmetic. It was just a 2-bedroom house, 3 levels, had a basement, had a full bath in the basement, small little townhouse. And the realtor told me they were under contract in 2 days. And she told me they had 7 offers, and all of the offers was like 40 to 50,000 over the list price. So my point is that you still are in a competitive market. So by waiting, you're going to lose that equity that you could have been sitting on when the rates went. I mean, when the rates go down 2 years later, the rates will go down. You get that lower rate, but you still got your equity. And I'm noticing that I'm seeing a lot of cash buyers. It's cash buyers out there. It's people that have sold their house when the market was up and they sitting on that money and now they want to get out there and they want to buy. Some people are doing heat lock. I mean, it's just a lot of stuff going on because right now is a great time to buy. Believe it or not, it's a great time to buy.
Okay. And so looking at that buyer looking in the mirror, what are some of the things they should get in order before moving?
Right.
forward?
What are some of the characteristics? I'm a buyer. I'm looking in the mirror. What am I looking for? What am I looking for?
That buyer in the mirror needs to first get over their fear and make a decision that I want to buy. One of the best ways is to get knowledgeable of the real estate, like, reaching out to you guys, getting with people like me, just understanding what the market is doing, how the market can benefit them. The second thing is to definitely work on your credit, to get your credit in line with a good lender. Like I always tell people, the first step would be First Home Alliance because you guys specialize in that in reference to helping them, putting them with community partners, getting a budget plan going, understanding what your budget is, knowing what you can afford, what you can't afford. And then once that process happens, then get with a good real estate agent and start to move forward. There's a lot of programs out there right now. You got grant programs, you got, Virginia Housing, you got so many different things that can help you purchase a home. It's just a matter of you getting over that fear and understanding that it is a good time to buy, and I'm going to go ahead and move forward.
Yes, and I know here, I know the price really. I know in real estate is location, but here really the price and what you can afford that actually helps you make your decision. But how can a person really, because we have this big want list, they want this, they want the sliding doors, they want the deep tub, they want the view. And so how do you go through the evaluation and actually narrowing down to what's really important to you? What would you suggest a buyer to consider when it's the importance of what they need in that house?
One of the things I think is we always tell people to give me your wish list, and then let's start to narrow it down to what you can live with and what you can't. And you got to just be realistic, because some people are more into location. So if you're into location based on your price range, you got to make sure that you're okay with maybe selling for maybe 3 bedrooms with 1 full bath, and you got to share that full bath. A lot of people like to have the luxury of having a full bath in the primary bedroom, but sometimes you may not get that.
Walk down the hall to shower.
Yeah. So I mean, it's just a matter of being realistic and understanding and writing down what you can live with and what you can't live with.
And for those of you who have all boys, like everyone that's on this call right now, I understand if you cannot live with sharing a bathroom. I get that. That makes sense. That makes sense.
It makes a whole lot of sense. But that's that's what you have to do. That's what I would do. I would advise my client to write down what they want, and then let's start to narrow it down if we have to.
Right. Yes. And so with that, sometimes you have to, start preparing distance out. And so what are some of the sacrifices you may have to make to get that budget down, to get your expectations down? So what have you seen maybe that some that have to sacrifice or do without to move forward?
One of the things is, if you're eating out 2 to 3 times a week, you may have to stop eating out. You may have to cook a little bit more. Like I said, getting with you guys is a great source, because you will write it down to where they have a picture of what they're spending and how they're spending it. And I think that's key, to know where your money is going. So that way you can actually know where your money's going and start to save to help with that down payment. To maybe even, sometimes if you're going through a program like Virginia Housing, they may help with your down payment, but then you may save an extra $5,000 where you can buy your rate down some. So those options like that is, cut your spending back, know where your money's going, do debt stacking. Yeah. Well, consolidation is good too, but debt stacking, I always recommend that. So debt stacking to me is like, you kind of like pay off the smallest bill. And then if that bill is $50 a month, then you take that $50 and add it to the next one. And then you just keep doing it. So instead of me paying all 3 now I done got this paid off. So that $50 a month that I was paying minimum is going to be added to this $100 a month with this bill. Then once I pay that off, that $150 will be added to this one here. And you just constantly keep doing it. And it's like a snowball effect. That's an easy way.
You just said that the snowball. That is the snowball effect.
Snowball effect.
Yes, that is the snowball. And that is, I think, because there's one is, it's snow outside too.
Yeah.
And so that is, you guys, when you start talking about relieving that debt, eliminating your debt, you come up with that plan, and actually going to have to set aside a little bit of your budget to go ahead and attack it. And the snowball effect, if you take one of the smaller ones and you apply that extra to that smaller bill, and you continue to pay the small one off, and then let's just say if the regular payment is $100, but go ahead and just sacrifice another $50. You pay $150 towards that bill that's normally $100. The rest of them continue to pay them a small amount on them, or maybe the minimal payment on those. And once you finish paying that $150 and snowball that one off because you speeded up the process of that, you go to your next one. And then your next one, just say it was $200 a month. And so now you've been paying $200 a month, but now you have an extra $150 from the one that you paid off. You add that $150 to the $200, and now you're paying $350 on a bill that's normally $200 until you paid it off. And you see how the payments are getting larger until you knock down those debts. Then you go to the next one, and now you got a sizable amount that you're making double and 3 times whatever the minimum payment of those things, and you're knocking them off. And so that's the snowball effect. And so that's next time we'll talk about the avalanche. But that is snowball, and that is a strategy to knock those debts out.
Yeah.
I wanted to talk, Ketaa, or just kind of mention on from a real estate perspective in terms of, and I see it a lot now on social media, You don't need money to buy a house. You don't need money to get an investment property. Buy my book, get my, my take my webinar, blah, 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 blah. So again, this is a candid conversation. I want you to be as real as you possibly can. Is that true? Do I need money to buy a house?
So because I have a investment background too, I can say that I would never say whatever they did didn't work.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're dealing with investment properties and you don't need money down, I think that's another type of strategy that is just way out of the whack that I don't have time to do. Okay. Now, I remember years ago where wholesaling was like a good thing to do. People were getting into wholesaling. And wholesale basically is you talk to a seller and you say, hey, seller A, I want to buy your house for, say, $200,000. And they agree to sell it to you for $200,000. You put it on the contract. Then you go find a buyer over here and say, hey, I got this property, sell it to you for $250,000. He agrees or she agrees to buy it for $250,000. You have the contract with the seller A. You assign that contract over to buyer B, and buyer buys it. You pay the $200,000 to that seller. You walk away with the $50,000, and that's how they were making their money. That's so watered down now, where everybody and their mama was doing that. So now it's hard to do that. So yes, you can do that, but is it common? No. So what I mean by that is that to do something like that in today's time, you're going to be calling probably thousands and thousands of sellers trying to figure out how I can work this deal.
So let's take it away from that. So me, I'm just a teacher. I'm just a cop. I'm just a regular person. Can I purchase a property with no money?
No. I still
think, please tell me why I can't.
Because of the fact that even with VA, I'm gonna use VA because when you meet a VA person that is not educated, they automatically think, oh, I'm VA, I ain't got to put no money down. And they think they ain't got to pay nothing. You have something called a funding fee. Now that funding fee can be rolled into your loan, but you don't really want it because it adds more money. But then you have something called closing costs. Closing costs is fees that is charged to you as a buyer by the title company, because everybody has to do a service. And by them doing that service costs money. And so you have to have that money to pay that closing cost. You have to have that money to pay that lender. And nowadays, because of the law that they added in, that sellers are not responsible for buyer agents' commission, now you have to deal with that. So, no, the answer to your question is no.
All right, y'all heard it from the horse's mouth.
Don't go buy a lottery ticket.
Right.
Yeah. And I just want to read
that. They won't give you that free either. So.
Yeah. And I want to read something that I pulled up, and it's the housing market in the Washington, D.C. metro. Mm-hmm. And so in 2024 was 3,858 closed sales. This year, 2025 actually was 3,780.
So it went down.
So it went down, but only went down a little bit. And then the medium sold price in 2025 was $620. Ooh, the medium sales price in 2024 was $590. So even though the rates are like these buyers in the mirror, I'm fearful of the rates, the prices are steady still going up. Yes. So don't let the rate stop you from buying, because what's going to happen is that it's going to be too high. It's just like a stock. You don't buy when it's high. You buy when it's low. So yes, it's high to us as, number wise, but you're still in a good point. If you can buy, because it may be to a point where houses may be 700,000-800,000. And I believe that's going to happen. If the rates go down and the buyers flood the market, them prices are going to go so high. And people like Larry and me and you, Charlene, that own homes and own multiple homes, we're going to hate it with the taxes, but we're going to be like this because the price. I would love for my house to go up to, go up to $800 million.
Yeah, $1 million.
Yeah.
Come on. Don't take me with a good time.
Insurance.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. So,
if you live long enough, you're gonna see it. I mean, of course, I've been in and around over 60 years, and so I've seen the first property, that I purchased. It was $29,000. Of course, that's in 1985.
What is it worth now?
It's worth 5 times than what I paid for it.
wow.
And so, and I can see that here. And even though we're talking about something that's a whole lot more here, that it's already twice as much as I paid for in 20 years. So, but no, that house, 29,000 is worth over 160 now.
Yeah.
That's 5 times what you paid for it.
Yeah.
I had a client bought a house back in COVID time, 2021. It was in a good location. They paid $315. They just called me and said now their house is at about $490, almost $5 something.
Yes.
So that's that's like a 5-year, actually, almost 5-year time. And your house jumped up to that. See, that's the power in real estate. That is the power in real estate. The problem is that, getting with people like you guys, First Home Alliance, and me as a realtor, I think we educate. So, we teach them how to buy the house, but not only buy it, keep the house.
Yeah.
Because like we said about the market crashing, another problem was that people were just refinancing their house to go on trips, to buy cars, to do this, that's not the way to go. So, me being a realtor, I think I become more of like a life coach also. Because you start to educate as you go through experiences. Like I said, I'm an investor too. So I have some clients that say, hey, I want to buy an investment property. What do I do? How do I do it? I have one client I'm so happy for her. She's in her mid-20s. She bought her first house, single family, and then she decided to buy an investment property that she's going to rent out to some of her family members. But I'm like, man, you don't understand how this makes me happy because you're going to see the benefit 15, 20 years from now. You see what I'm saying? So
just being educated on what you just told us about the average price here in this the area. In 1 year, in the 2024, it was $590. In 25 is $620. So that's $30,000. $30,000 in 1 year.
Yes.
I don't know exactly what percent that is, but most people can't save $30,000 within 1 year, by putting, $500 on the side each month or $1,000. It will be liquidated because you're going to have something that come up and that money's gone.
Yeah.
And so it is a safe investment and in your future. So back to the point in reference to looking in the mirror, this is where you are today. And a lot of us use that mirror looking behind, but also we need to use that mirror to look at ourselves into the future.
Yes.
Where we plan to be in the future, and definitely an investment in real estate to help you get there.
Yes, it will. It will. And I think a lot of people's fear is also they don't understand because they can't see it.
You got to understand, people don't know what they don't know.
Yeah.
If you never saw it, how can you envision it? How can you imagine it if you've never seen it?
People don't see it. So because they don't see it, they just automatically think it's not there.
Or that it's not possible.
Well, but even when they have the equity, like they just don't believe you can have that type of equity. You understand what I'm saying? Because you can't see it. I mean, let's look at it. Real estate, a mortgage is a note, right? So in order for me to actually tap into what equity I have to liquidate, but it's still there.
Right.
But because they can't just grab it like when they really want to, they don't understand that it's there. You understand what I'm saying? And I think the more education, like you said, teaching them what an asset is, what a liability is, it would help people. And that's what I like to do. Teach them, hey, going to buy that car is not worth buying if you can go buy your house. This is more important. You see what I'm saying? Because my client's sister, and it's funny because my client that I took out, I told you in Sterling, his sister is one of my lifetime clients. I've sold houses to her and her family. And so she was telling her brother, she was like, stop being cheap, because he was approved for like $550. She said, you need to go up and buy you a house. Stop being cheap. And he's like, oh, I want to stay in it. She's like, stop. She said, rent is $2,700, $2,800 in this area. So would you rather make it for yourself or give it to somebody else?
Right. On that note, though, we always say buy based off affordability. You may be pre-approved for $550, but if that spending plan does not.
Yeah, but I was listening to that story. I know you did say rent, and so what we are also put out there: if you can pay rent, you can pay mortgage.
Yes.
And so if you're living in an affordable rental situation, and if you can purchase for the same amount.
Yeah.
Then why not purchase?
Why not purchase?
And also time to help to save money for your down payment, then set up a plan to save for that. Look for some programs. But if you can pay rent, and if it's in the affordability range, you can purchase in that same range.
And also, I think it's just like you said, Larry, just educating and keeping them abreast. Because I noticed a lot of the millennials, they have their schedule, they have their what stuff that they do every week.
Oh, yeah.
And if it interferes with that, they don't want to do it.
They got that balance. They got that. They call it a balance.
Work-life entertain balance.
Work-life entertainment. And I heard that entertainment comes from being amused. And amuse mean that you're doing things that you don't really have to think about. You don't have to concentrate on. So you don't want your brain to struggle to advance. So you want it to be amused so you can sit there and sedate yourself with entertainment. Yeah. So why are you going to sedate yourself with entertainment when you can and being amused when you can actually revert that and go through the struggle to achieve? Yeah. There is no achievement that you can't build a muscle without tearing something down. So you need to go through the struggle to grow. That's right. And so we need to think about that entertainment.
I mean, some people are like, oh, I got to buy 3 pair of shoes a month. I got to go. I mean, we eat out 3 times a week. I mean, are you serious? So you got to do that. See that? And again, I think if somebody was to put $100,000 or $200,000 on the table and say, if you stop buying these shoes and stop eating out, in 5 years, I'll give you this, but you got to buy this house. I guarantee you they would do it. It's just that they can't see it. You understand what I'm saying? And so it's a very disconnect. So it's mainly the education. We have to just educate. And that's what I'm on this year, is trying to educate as many people about equity, about buying a home, not just to buy it to say I own a home, but understand the benefits of owning a home.
In the bigger picture.
Yeah, in the bigger picture. Yes.
Yes. Well, I appreciate this evening today, the subject matter that we had here. And I want to get this. I'm supposed to have this flyer up here. Ketaa, I didn't make the flyer for your contact information, but I want you to continue to put this out. I know that you come out. We have some educational events that are coming up. Yes. And Ketaa is there for most of our events. But go ahead and tell them about some of the efforts that you put out there, marketing, and then talk to us about your media platforms where they can find out more information, and then give us your contact information if the individuals need to follow up with you.
Okay. So we're constantly doing classes. First time homebuyer classes. You can find me on Facebook, Golden Team Realty. You can find me on Instagram, Golden Team Realty. It has my email, it has my phone number on there where you can reach me. Feel free to call me or just message me about anything. I'm here to help. That's what I believe in, helping people grow. I think we got a series going on, right, Larry? So
yes, that is correct.
So next week we'll be right here doing the same thing, different topic, but same thing. So yeah, that's what I got.
I do have our Larry. Do you have our topic for next week? And I'm sorry, I should have had that.
I got it.
Yeah, yes. You got it, all right?
Yes. Yes. And so I do have the the screen up here, everyone. You can go ahead and take a screenshot of that. Keta's information. That's Ketaa Golden. He's a broker. He's a associate broker there with Fairfax Realty. His phone number is 703-587-9079. And that's Ketaa Golden Realty at gmail.com. And just in case you're not able to screenshot that and you did not copy this down, of course, contact our office and we will get you in contact with Ketaa. Okay. And so we're going to be back next week again to continue the series. Next week's topic, we're going to be talking about a great time to buy. You know, we touched on some of those today. And we're going to continue this discussion and hoping that you are getting empowered and picking up some great information in reference to, you know, making that purchase in real estate and also sustaining home ownership. And so, so we'll look forward to seeing Ketaa again next Thursday, again at 7 p.m. here on all the platforms. But we'll remind you again on Facebook. Go ahead and follow us on Facebook. We want you to post and share on Facebook. We have YouTube. On YouTube, we're growing a community, so we need for you to hit the notification bell so you'll be notified anytime that we come live. And also go ahead and subscribe. The channels are being monetized, so the larger our communities are, the more that your opportunity for you to give back to First Home Alliance. And Instagram. We'll try to put some videos out there. I know you guys like to see quick videos out there. We do see our ratings are jumping out on Instagram. One of the platforms that we haven't done a lot of activity on, but we have increased and continue to post out there. Want you to continue to join us at our live events. And so check out our website for our upcoming first-time homebuyer classes and workshops. There's some, the month of February, there's a Nova Expo. We'll be posting information out there for that. We have a community day coming up. So we want you to come out in person when we're in person and to continue to follow us live here on the online as well. On Monday morning, we have yoga with Tippy. That is at 7:15. But you can watch it at any time to get you in the right spirit and mind and body with yoga. So pull that up and join us live on Facebook and YouTube on Monday morning at 7:15. All right, that's all that we have for today.
Real quickly, we do have our next first-time homebuyers class. That's going to be February 21st at the McCourt Building located in Woodbridge. We do have some seats available. You can feel free to visit our website at www.firsthomealliance.org, or you could also visit Virginia Housing, VHDA.com as well to register for that. Again, that's going to be February 21st. Registration begins at 9:30. That's going to be located at the McCourt Building in Woodbridge. You got seats available. Please register.
Sounds good. Please visit our website. That's at firsthomealliance.org and register for the upcoming classes. You guys have a good evening. And
thank you for having me.
We'll see you next week.
Thank you, Ketaa.
Thank you.
All right.